Okay. Good evening, everybody. We are getting ready to do something different today. If I can find my mouse, which appears lost in mouse land. There we go. Today we are going to fly the Vision Jet S50 from which I printed a checklist out for and which I left in the other room. So I should be able to still find them. I think I have them on here. But the reason we're flying the Vision Jet S50 is the beta for X-Plane 12.3 has come out, and I thought it would be cool to kick the tires, test drive a couple of features. One of those features is, see if I can find this file real fast. Looks like I can't, so I'll pull it up. One of those features is better synchronization between the master machine and the slave machine, which is running this monitor over here, and occasionally I found that it would lose itself, which would be disconcerting. Second, let's make sure the stream is working here. Seems to be. How does it sound? Sounds fine. Looks good. We've got ForeFlight open over here. I might as well pull that up while we're sitting here. Talk about our route of flight and what we're going to do. So number one, better synchronization, hopefully, of the master and slave machines. Second of all, we should have a weather radar here, which should be cool to see. The S50 has the weather radar, which is one of the reasons I have selected it for this flight. Also, we now have simulated sim vision on the PFD, which is something that I missed from the real airplane, and that was present in an earlier version of X-Plane 12, but we lost it a little bit while they were working on 12.3, and it is back. So we've got that going for us, you know, which is nice. Here's our checklist. Downloads this file. This one. Yes, I'd like to download that. Thank you very much for asking. It should be here in the downloads folder. There it is. The one thing I didn't look up was the numbers for final, although I think they said the S50 is 95 on final. 115, we'll just do a quick Google search for that. Because it's good to know your numbers. At least I think so. We can look them up while we're in the air. So we've got a little checklist. We've got the S50, we're in Punta Gorda. I have LiveTraffic. You can see an Allegiant flight. Well, you can't see because you're looking at ForeFlight, but an Allegiant flight just landed right there. So if we look at ForeFlight, what is the plan? The plan is to be in the air for about 45 minutes. And we're going to fly from Punta Gorda, an airport I know reasonably well, from the real world, down to Marathon Key, so we get to see the Everglades a little bit, and a little bit of the Key water. And then we're going to hang a turn and go down the Keys and land in Key West. Why have we picked this? One, I haven't done a flight in Florida for a while. Number two, we've got weather. And that gives us a chance to check out our weather radar. In particular, we have some cells here that we may need to go around. So we're going to try that out. We're going to go down at 10,500 feet. No air traffic control for PilotEdge on this, although we will listen to Homestead Center on the way down. Miami Center is what's controlling that part of the world. Just so we've got some background noise, which will be nice. And looks like the checklist for starting this up is pretty much consistent with what we would do. Battery 1, battery 2. Gear up. We've got all that working. Power is to idle. Parking brake is on. Transponder, it's on standby. Fresh air. That's the bleed air, but I'm going to turn on the fresh air because it's warm in the cockpit. Start approved. Power to idle. Transponder. Doesn't tell me how to actually start the airplane, but I know I had this ignition switch we'll go to the system, and I'll put this on the MFD so you can see it. And this should start some fuel flow for us. It's supposed to. There we go. The Vision Jet has a single jet engine, which is pretty cool. I might as well look at find the Vision Jet S50 pattern speeds while we're at it. I have no experience in a real turbine. Got a lot of experience in a safe, stable landing approach speed is 90-95 knots. Target touchdown speed of 85 knots, just like the SR-22. There you go. So we've got that going for us. Maximum operating speed 250. Okay, we'll keep it south of that. Flap extend speeds 150 knots. It flies just like the SR-22. It just goes 80 knots a mile, 80 knots an hour faster. Okay. Well, we can figure that out, right? Anybody, those of you who are watching, if you could tell me how the audio is, that would be great. We'll get ForeFlight closed here, since we know our route. Didn't mean to do that. And we're looking out the front window. Let's see, can we look out the side window? We've got the PFD, we've got the MFD, we've got the side view. Let's go ahead and turn on the avionics, the generators, and turn the volume up on our center. All right. Unfortunately, when I turned all this on, I came to realize that my front window settings had been changed the last time I had adjusted the TV settings. So I had to figure all that out. There's that Allegiant traffic taxiing by with LiveTraffic. And I'm hoping you can hear me okay over the ATC. Let me know if you can. You can see one of the things that's working better in synchronization is the traffic, road traffic and stuff actually now synchronizes across the master and the slave machines. Okay, we're at Punta Gorda. Let's put in our flight plan real quick. Let me turn on the MFD so you guys can watch. Sorry, got these swapped for me for some reason. You guys can see how this is working. Flight plan, we're already at Punta Gorda. Marathon next. And then Key West. Okay, so there's our flight plan. We're going to go down at 9.5, is that what I selected? If I was using my kneeboard, I'd have all this written down, but I didn't do that today. Yeah, 9,500. Okay, that's good. So, one of the things we can look and see if it's working here, let me zoom out, is NEXRAD should be pulling in returns, and it is. So you can see we've got weather there on NEXRAD along with traffic, which is great.
American 917, minus center areas with scattered moderate to heavy precipitation 12 o'clock and 5 miles.
And then we have the weather radar view. And right now there's no weather radar, there's no weather in front of us, so we're not seeing anything. We'll get our tilt. We can adjust our tilt, we can adjust the bearing, the gain. We do that here. It's already set 50%, which is about where it should be. So we'll come back to this once we're airborne, and we'll check out the weather radar and see how that works. We also have a storm scope where we can look for lightning, and we don't have any lightning returns right now. So those are some things we're going to be checking out here today. And in the meantime, we'll go ahead and we'll get the weather from Punta Gorda. Punta Gorda? I used to know the ATIS off the top of my head. ATIS is 135675. To reseat my G1000 in there. Good enough. ATIS 135675. There we go. Okay.
JetBlue 1453 Miami Center, areas of moderate to heavy precipitation present, persistent and extends south eastbound along your route of flight for the next 90 miles.
We'll swap that over. So I set my heading bug for 40. Well, that's our departure runway. Also, our altitude, we'll go ahead and bug that 9,500. We'll probably have auto fly today a little bit.
53, can we get higher?
Guys are having rough rides. You can hear it on the ATC. Okay, so I think this airplane is working. Again, I don't have any experience flying this airplane in the real world, and I've just kind of mapped my Cirrus SR-22 controls to it best as I can. So this could be a cluster. We shall see. Where are we? 40, we're just going to taxi out here over to the right. Give her some juice. Take off the parking brake. Strobe is on. All right, well, we seem to be moving. That's a good sign.
Flight level 3, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Sounds cool. I'll give it that. I went into the ACF file in X-Plane and modified this so that we couldn't see all the sides of the cockpit. Did everything? I don't know if you watched any of the VR streams, but those were fun to do. But it's great being back in the actual cockpit again.
055, vector
055, get 4330.
Alright, and we will continue to sort of go by the book here. We didn't call for taxi, but... Yeah, it sounds cool, doesn't it? I hope my flaps handle works. Not sure about that yet. This is runway 4. Perfect. Alright, so we would call them up on tower. Somebody's got a bad radio. We would call tower, we'd tell them that we're going, they would give us clearance, we would take off, and then we would tell them we're making a departure to the south. Flaps. See if they go down. Yeah, we got flaps indicator right here, which is cool. And then elevator trim also should be working. We've got a trim indicator also. You can see that on the MFD. And I'll switch over to the PFD. And you can see with the synthetic vision, a couple of things. First, you can see the runway coming into view. Second, you can see that green pipper. That's where the airplane is headed. So it gives you a chance to see your sync rate, things like that. And then it's got traffic or the diamonds, and then it'll have X's for obstacles. Okay. RPMs as expected, I guess. Again, engine instruments are as expected.
American 917,
Engine instruments are on the green, airspeed is alive.
Stop at 290.
Get on the center line here. There we go. We're rolling. I don't know what VX is on this airplane, but I'm going to guess. Oh, it's coming up. VY is 120. So that'll certainly be safe. All right, we're flying. Gears coming up. Flaps are coming up. That's looking pretty good. You can see our little Vision Jet shadow down there.
XL 4339, fly heading 060.
All right.
3060, get South 43.
Get ourselves trimmed. And we'll come around here to our route. This is Apple Maps, but I'm running the Orbix Florida overlays on top of it. There we go. Performs different than a Cirrus SR22, I'll tell you that. All right, so we're going to start looking for some weather to scan. There we go, looks like there's some ahead of us. So let's see if we can pick that up. Not seeing anything there. Let's test. Where do I do that? Mode, test. There's my test. All right, so it's testing okay. It's just not seeing anything right now. Okay. Going to weather mode. Oh, there we go. Take myself out of test. Go to weather mode.
We are deviating right from weather.
And it looks like my gain needs to be different.
Miami Center areas of moderate to heavy precipitation, 12 o'clock starting in 20 miles. Scattered to 5 miles in diameter.
Open information, thank you, 355. Right, 917, requesting right deviation.
Interesting, I'm not quite sure what it's picking up there at 100 nautical miles away, but...
American 917, deviation approved, Alvic enable, contact Savannah Center, 124.55.
Maybe that's the weather. In which case, we need to avoid that. So we'll take a look at that here.
Miami Center, good afternoon, line crew 1826 Heavy, flight level 300.
We're still climbing fine. Boy, great view out this window though. Look at that. Doesn't that look great?
I heading 030 Blanco, 1826 Heavy.
Love it.
4339, squawk 1356.
Okay, so what's going on here? It's got a big thing of something right in front of us. Maybe that's what it's seeing, is what's in front of us. Let's look at our synthetic vision for a second.
Miami approach 120.5.
0.5, get South 4339.
Blanco 1826, clear direct sandbar.
Direct sandbar, Blanco 1826.
Let's go ahead and get autopilot on our,
Blanco 1826,
get auto on our
maintain 8000, Miami
nav.
2995.
Autopilot.
Sandbar at or above.
It's nice of it to talk to us like that. We'll get our vertical speed set to maybe
Southwest 217,
nice comfortable 600 feet a minute. Take us up to our altitude.
380 Southwest 217.
Southwest 217, climb and maintain flight level 380.
380 Southwest 217.
There we go. Great view.
Tango 1826, block 7477.
Clouds out the side window. Looking solid.
American 3231, Miami Center, areas of scattered moderate to heavy precipitation, 10 o'clock and 3 miles, scattered along your route of flight for the next 6 miles. Standby for
So,
Altitude.
yeah, 1,000 feet. That's our altitude alert, which is great. And glad to see some of you watching. What happens if I need to eject? Well, there is a caps handle. This is the Cirrus. I don't have it set. But I'm going to put, actually, I'm going to put a handle up here, a spring-loaded handle that I can use for caps because the Cirrus aircraft have parachutes, and it's not a bad thing to simulate from time to time. Thanks, Luis, for the comment on the setup. It's been a labor of love. Sometimes we fly VR, sometimes we fly non-VR. We're flying non-VR today. We can slow it down a little bit. We're doing 240 knots. Okay. Great. Boy, the scenery is looking fantastic.
Reset transponders, block 3547.
That looks great. The atmospherics in X-plane are really solid. Okay, so
Franco 1826, block 7477.
I did a test with the weather radar before taking off, but
Chassis 811, did you check in at 6,000?
maybe I'm not doing it right.
Dragster 39.
Not sure about that. Coming up to 9,500 on our altitude. The weather here in the real world is a little different than what I'm getting in X-plane right now in terms of the cell locations, but it's not too far off.
Miami Center, areas of scattered moderate to heavy precipitation, 10 miles northeast of the Sandbar intersection. Expect further vectors.
Flying over Sarasota Airport, which is right out this window.
Cross Sandbar, add and maintain 8,000, Miami altimeter 29995.
2995, direct Sandbar, cross Sandbar at 8,000, American 1128.
American
All right.
1128, block 6071.
Hello, Ian. Good evening.
071,
Late for you, my friend.
Miami Center, Chassis 811.
We're trying the Vision Jet to Key West today, marathon in Key West, give us a chance to see how some of the features in 12.3 work. And one of the things we've been trying to get work is the weather radar, which doesn't seem to be working the way I want it to. Maybe I need to turn the bearing up 3 degrees. Yeah, that's what it is. It's getting nose cone interference. That's what we got. Let me turn this on so you guys can see it. First of all, let's get inside 240 miles. All right, so there's some returns for us. Yep. So there are some echoes, some weather echoes. And if we look at the vertical view,
811, time and maintain 7,000.
it's giving us what's basically at our altitude.
Miami Center, Copa 467, flight level 350.
Copa 467, Miami Center, moderate to heavy precipitation.
And let's recalibrate our
0
gain.
miles, areas 10 miles in diameter, and additional areas of moderate to extreme precipitation 20 miles south of the Punta
Ooh.
Gorda.
That tells a different story, doesn't it?
For weather Copa 467.
All right, so that's full gain. Okay, we're figuring out how this thing works.
Miami Center, Copa
Ironically, I can hear
467.
a thunderstorm
Copa
here.
467.
So now let's compare that to the NEXRAD, because basically we've got echoes about 50 miles ahead of us, bearing off the nose to the right.
Affirmative. I'm just
Again,
areas
great
of
view out that
scattered
window.
moderate heavy precipitation in 20 miles, and it appears to
So
be
let's take a
mild
look and see what we got here.
Okay, thank you. Copa 467.
Yeah, so it's picking up that echo there. Let me get this so you guys can see. Sorry for turning that off on you. So, let's...
Good afternoon, Argentina 1304,
Yeah, so I've got that big echo there.
Argentina 1304, Miami Center, areas of moderate.
So we've got these echoes here. That's what it's picking up, is those echoes there.
Walk 3640.
Archer, copy the weather, transponder 3640, Argentina
Yeah, cool.
1304.
Argentina 1304, clear direct sandbar, cross sandbar at and maintain 8000, Miami altimeter 29905.
Roger, the flight direct number, and maintain 300.
I don't know how to keep the gain
Argentina
high.
1304, cross sandbar at and maintain 8000.
Roger, flight direct number and descend, maintain at number 8000, Argentina 1304. Could you confirm, for that one?
Do I hit enter to keep it high? Do I?
304 is configuration.
I think the default tilt is 3 degrees.
Landing west.
Roger, landing west 134.
Alright, well that's interesting to see. Let's see what we've got going on. I'm glad you think it's brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, the radar is sick. Yeah, plain green and the vertical is the ground. I think you're right.
Copa 467, are you able flight level 370?
So, a couple things technically that are going on. First of all, this looks great. It's interesting on my monitor, it looks a little more saturated, but what I'm seeing on X-Plane looks cool. I don't know if you guys can see this big thunderhead right here. That's the one that's ahead of us.
Lanco 1826, cross sandbar at and maintain 8000.
Looks like we might be able to go under it. Not a good idea to fly under the thunderstorms, but let's see what happens. You can always try to dodge between the cells. We're already almost halfway to marathon. We're cruising. We're over speed 257. Let's bring it back a little bit, bro. You don't want to spin the fins off the turbine. Am I right? All right, nice little thing to see here on the synthetic vision. You can see this target coming over. That's traffic. If we switch to our traffic view,
Weather, can we fly direct outlet position, Alpha Lima Victor Echo Kilo?
Copa 355, approved as requested.
first of all, storm scope here is showing lightning. You can see there, 25 miles distant.
Copa 467, climb and
So
maintain
thunder,
flight level
lightning off
370.
our left wing. That's cool.
Level 370, Copa 467.
And let's see if we can see. Well, that bogey disappeared.
Miami, Laco 1826 Heavy, we're sorry, we misunderstood your clearance. We're not going to be able to make standby 8,000. We could cross it with about 10,000.
That's the train avoidance.
Lanco 1826, approved as requested.
Uh-oh.
8,000, that's straight down.
Something's freaking out. There we go. So we've got a target in front of us, but it's quite distant. Now, one of the things you can do on the map is with traffic, you can turn it off. And in some airplanes, you can set what traffic high, low, or at your altitude, which is cool. I don't need the inset. I'll turn that off. And I don't know if you just saw the NEXRAD radar returns changing. They must be updating the weather right now, which is cool. After some minutes of 30 to 40 minutes, do I have a feel that you're in real life flying? Leo, I do with VR. I don't in this because you simply don't have the sense of 3D. I mean, well, let me back that up. If I'm practicing instrument procedures, which sometimes I do, I'm instrument rated in the real world, you can get really lost in the middle of practicing instrument procedures, and I can get out of the physical cockpit. Sometimes I will have said to my wife, like, that felt real. but it felt real mentally, like the mental challenge of it felt real. In terms of actually feeling like I'm in the airplane, VR blows this away. I mean, as amazing as all this is, you've got a good headset. Like I've really kind of got my Quest dialed in, and it's, you know, it's incredible, especially when you got stuff like this going on around you. It really feels like you're flying.
We'd like 370 the Abbott Copa 812.
This is cool. I gotta say, the weather radar is cool. That is sweet.
Okay,
How are we doing on fuel? We're doing okay. Let's see if it tracks my Airlon trim. It does. I wish the SR22 had this so I could see where my elevator trim was. And oh, just discode or autopilot because I hit the trim button. Bring us back, bro.
Altitude.
Down we go. Up we go.
Director 3916, affirmative.
Thank you.
Down we go. Okay, we just had a weather update. Nice view out here.
Affirmative.
Starting to stabilize. Those clouds look great out the front window though, don't they? So with VR, it feels like sometimes I forget. You know, if you had a motion seat, you could forget. I think you could forget that you weren't flying.
W1794. Areas of scattered moderate to extreme precipitation as you make your turn westbound in about 20 miles. Areas 30 miles in diameter. Deviations left and right.
Yeah, that's great. I love that you've got your commercial. I was about halfway to mine when I stopped flying in the real world. And you know, it's awesome rating. And yeah, you can't like, it's no joke being able to practice IFR in a sim. It really does help. It doesn't keep you from getting the leans and feeling spatial disorientation, but it like there's no supplement for spending time trying procedures when you can't see what's going on outside the airplane. That's one thing about VR which is cool, is with the VR you can really some of those returns are getting strong. With the VR you can really feel like you can't see, and you know, IMC conditions are all about not being able to see. All right, so where are we and what are we doing? We are, let's say, let's say 16 minutes out.
2710 Miami Center, areas of scattered moderate to extreme precipitation, 12 o'clock starting in 10 miles, and the scattered southbound along your route of flight for the next 40 miles.
I've got us having 60 miles to Marathon, 15 minutes. And then a very short hop, only 10 minutes to Key West. So we're going to want to not be at altitude when we get to Marathon. Boy, these clouds look great. I don't know how they look on this. They look pretty good. They look like they might be a little oversaturated. But, and maybe a little, just looking at this. Hey Nate, how are you? I'm just looking at the stream. No, the clouds look pretty good. Sometimes I think that we crush the whites, but that looks reasonable. We're flying the Vision Jet today for the hell of it. I set up an ACF for the sim, and it seems to be working pretty well. I was thinking for some of those long hops in the Utah Alphabet Challenge, having something that goes 200 knots or faster, 230 knots. Could be nice. If we were in the real world, even VFR, I would be squawking at altitude. Looks like Windows Media Player just stopped playing our ATC. So we've lost that. Sorry about that. Maybe I can get it running again. Not much difficulty. Let's see. How many things can you do? Try to do it once in a flight simulator. We're about to find out. There it goes. mission accomplished. That wasn't too disruptive. Yeah, so VR, amazing to feel like you're flying. Can be harder to do instrument training in the VR headset. If you've got good use of the controllers, you can see your charts. It's highly doable. I used to do it. But if you really want to be focused on procedures and not worried about what you're clicking or how you're clicking, this is the best way to do it for sure. So sort of VR for FR, VFR, and IFR for, VR for VFR and physical simulator for IFR.
Delta 2168, Miami.
My labels are peeling off. I'm so bummed. I found the exact placards and I recreated them in Word, printed them on black paper, and they're peeling off. And what's weird is this one's not peeling off. So like, what's the deal with that? What is the deal with that? As Jerry Seinfeld would say. I could probably just glue stick them, but anyway, that's a bit of a bummer. Nobody wants their labels to peel off. Alright, so we're about to fly under this cell. I'm not seeing a lot of turbulence. We're not feeling a lot of turbulence. We're out over the Gulf, as you can see. Sim Vision is all water. Alright, so I probably want to come over a marathon at maybe 3,500 feet, something like that. How far out are we now? Marathon, where?
Delta 2168, areas of scattered moderate to extreme precipitation.
10 minutes?
Starting at 70 miles. Deviations left and
So
right.
we could start to go down pretty easily. I mean, if we went down, what do we have to lose? 6,000 feet, 500 feet a minute, that would be 12 minutes. So we could start to do that about now. So we'll bug for 3,500 feet.
Delta 2168, roger.
You'd actually probably stay higher until you were not over the water. Give yourself more glide distance. But at the same time, if we're at 10,000 at marathon, we have not a lot of time to get down to Key West. We'd have to dive bomb it. I don't want to do that. So we'll go down gentle, but we'll bug down to 3,500 feet. It's a nice altitude for sightseeing. I'll show you here on the MFD, PFD what we're doing. So you can see here at the top, I'm adjusting the altitude selector. I'm setting that to 3,500, and the autopilot doesn't automatically go there. You got to set a speed for it to descend to that. So we can hit the vertical speed button and say go down at 500 feet a minute, and now it will descend at that rate until we hit 3,500 feet a minute. Now another way to do it is do indicated airspeed, in which case we pick a speed that we want to descend to so that you don't speed up too much. So we could say that we want to go down at, 220 feet a minute. And that's more important for climbs, that you don't stall the airplane, that you ascend at a rate that's too high for what your angle of attack can handle when you end up standing in the airplane. But for descents, vertical speed is fine. And so we'll cruise down at 500 feet a minute. We'll just back at our throttle a little bit to manage our speed. And we're flying underneath this radar return now, as you can see. Might be worth seeing if the storm scope has any lightning. Nope. And no traffic. Boy, that looks great, doesn't it? The view out that window, looking out over the water. And we're coming down over the Keys. You can still see sort of the coastline over there. Yeah, this is cool being underneath this cloud.
November 814 Romeo Charlie, clear direct Weezer, Whiskey Echo Zulu Echo Romeo. Join Tango 341 to Omni Oscar, Mike, November, India, direct destination.
Yep. Okay, we're heading down. We've got a beautiful view. Sorry, I just stepped on the rudder pedal by mistake. Oops. Let's see what's going on the stream. Nothing so far. Let's see if there's. Yeah. Yeah, so we don't eject in the Cirrus, we just pull the chute. Might as well be thinking about what the Key West ATIS is. Now, how would we do this if we didn't have an iPad, if we didn't have an iPhone, and we didn't have charts? How would we figure it out? Well, we could go to our flight plan, and we can. Oops.
12455 with the banner.
Select to Key West, and I don't know if you can see at the bottom here, but it actually. Here. Go to flight plan, and whichever waypoint you give you, if it has relatively recent weather, it has it there. You can see it at the bottom of the screen. So there's Marathon's weather, which is reporting variable, 2,000 feet, altimeter 29993. Winds are variable at 2 knots, sorry. Scattered 20,000. I don't know what the remarks mean. If we look at Key West, 270 at 5 knots, visibility 10 statute miles, few at 13,500, scattered at 15,000. Okay, so we can actually get the Key West weather through the MFD. That said, we'll still want to dial it up. So how do you do that? You go to the waypoint screen. So we'll go over to waypoint. It has our last airport, but I can type in Key West. It actually put the NEXRAD on there, which shows Key West has weather coming over. But there it gives me the AWOS frequency. If I'm really lazy and I don't want to punch that up, I can actually go down to the AWOS frequency and hit enter, and it cross-fills it in here to the standby frequency. And then I can swap it over, and now I've got Key West. By the way, it's raining now. So I would imagine that if we go to this, we're flying over that, into that return now, which we are.
Hello, American 2964325 across 66300. American 2964 Miami.
So there you go. We can look at the view on NEXRAD. And it has us going right through the middle of that return.
Okay, we'll expect it in 7420, American 29, turn that to
I'll bring us down a little faster here. Let's go down to 600. And we can see some traffic flying by, all well above us, so that guy there is quite a bit below us. All right, so we'll listen to Key West weather here in a minute, as soon as we're close enough to get it. But what did it say it was? It said it was 270.5. Key West runways are, if we go back to our waypoint screen, 09 and 27. So we'll come in on 27 for Key West. Make left traffic into it. Although if we were talking to tower, they'd probably tell us to come straight in given our direction of flight. So that's what we'll probably do. All right.
Envoy 3349, Miami Center.
Looks like we're starting to get past this.
Flight level 280.
Going to get past this weather, at least the radar weather radar thinks we are.
Time to maintain flight level 280. American 2964 4, descend via the sandbar 3 arrival, landing west, Miami altimeter 29905.
The other land or sandbar
Yeah,
landing west,
cool.
29905.
All right. You can see on the PFD we're coming down. And we're still flying through the rain.
Fundy at maintain flight level 210.
That's Fundy at maintain flight level 210, west at 2710.
And those clouds look great. Nate asks, would never a fan of the Vision Jet seem the fuel is way too expensive considering you can get a DA62 instead? Yeah, probably. We're sipping gas pretty fast. Let's see what our fuel flow is. We've already used 52 gallons. Chewing through it. But, I mean,
November 7-3 with
get up there at 30,000 feet. There's something to be said for that. I don't know if the DA62 can do that or not. Perhaps it can, and I just don't know. I'm willing to say I don't know what I don't know. You know? Raining. All right, we've got the keys coming up in front of us. As you can see, we're at 5,500 feet. Marathon's going to be right in front of us.
You'll be talking to them in the next 3 minutes.
This is Marathon Key. We'll come in there, we'll make a turn, we'll head down toward Key West. Gliding distance, I don't know if you guys can see the magenta circle here, but that's actually our gliding distance. Shows us that we could glide to we could glide to Marathon right now if we needed to. If you look at the MFD, it might be hard to see, but right here there's a little cyan half of a curve. That's actually where we'll hit our descent altitude. So if I were to increase our rate of descent, you'll see that that thing comes in. So if I wanted to be at 3,500 feet by Marathon, I can just move my vertical descent until that little cyan circle, it's an arc, is on the island, which it is now. If you can see that, you might have to blow it up to see it. And then we'll be at the altitude we want to be at the place that we want to be at. That's our altitude alert, telling us that we're 1,000 feet. 20,000 foot ceiling, yeah. Yeah, the thing with the Vision Jet is you can go over the top. I think its ceiling is 35,000. It might even be higher. But you can go over the top of a lot of weather. But you can go over the top of a lot of weather, 20,000 feet. If we're honest. Marathon Airport is right in front of us. It doesn't have a tower, so we would be making a CTAF call to tell people that we were in the area. And now our GPS is taking us on a right-hand turn to fly down the Keys. That looks pretty cool. The ocean. And smooth as silk. I've got the, double frames running on this thing with the frame replicator. And the sim is pegged to 30 frames a second, and it's rendering here at 60. And it is smooth as silk. There's 7 Mile Bridge, right there. Don't ask how long it is.
Southwest 2927, timing maintain flight level 220.
And our synthetic vision gives us a little traffic.
This is at 7 Miami Center, areas of moderate to extreme precipitation, 12 o'clock starting in 5 miles. Scattered southbound along your route of flight for the next 40 miles.
Weather down by Homestead is not great. Those guys are dealing with a lot of weather. If I zoom out ForeFlight here, you can sort of see the area around Miami. Anybody coming in from the Bahamas is got to be going seriously out of their way. Pop-up thunderstorms across Florida, Central Florida. Got some around here, out over the Gulf and over Pinellas County. Let's see which way they're going. They have blossomed and are heading west. That's good for my dog. He does not like that. All right, let's go down another 1,000 feet.
you're checking at 6,000. Climb and maintain flight level 220.
And
American 2115, do not exceed 250 knots for spacing.
the key thing here is not to get
Onboard 33,
not to get behind the airplane.
Miami Center 128.2.
So we don't have long before we are at Key West. So I haven't heard the weather yet.
American 2115 after Glades, clear direct Redmond.
There it is.
Miami American at 9020 descending out of 4300.
American 920 Miami Center at 86, send via the camera for your arrival, landing west Miami, altimeter 2995.
Okay, and then we switch over to tower because it's a
Cayman 106.
Delta and we're getting close to their airspace. Their tower frequency is... Well, this has changed its layout. I can't see.
Southwest 2927, maintain 280 knots or greater.
Huh. You can see it. Well, it's on the chart.
November
Key West.
4519, Quebec,
Tower
Quebec,
118.2.
4.02.
Com. 11820. Swap. And we'd call them when we'd say Key West Tower. This is Cirrus Vision Jet S50, November 15 Juliet Golf. We are, what are we? We're calling early, 30 miles away, but we're coming in fast. So we're 30 miles east, inbound for full stop. And they would say, make straight in 27, and we'd say, roger that. Now before that is the Key West Naval A Station, Key West Naval Air Station, but it's looks like it's towered under the same. They've got a control tower 118.575, so we can't go into them. So we'd talk to them first, and they would probably switch us directly over to Key West Tower.
American 2115, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Coming in over the Keys. Moving along at a pretty good clip. Okay, let's go find that checklist again.
Iconic.
Landing light on, for sure.
Maintain flight level 390 and we're in the turn direct funding now.
Slow ourselves down. We don't need to be going 230 knots. We need to be close to 95 knots.
Cayman 106, contact Miami approach 120.5.
120.5, Cayman 106, good evening.
American 2964, contact Miami approach
Let's see,
120.5.
landing checklist. I don't think this thing has checklists built in. It does not.
I mean, Chelsea 504, we're going to need a heading of about 055 for what?
Flap speed 50% for us. Minimum flap speed. Alright, see our weight flaps 50%. Okay, 100 knots, fine. We'll be in the pattern when we hit the flaps, just like this SR-22. Power is required, fuel check, ice protection is on, seatbelt set, and approach briefing we've done. Altimeter set, we've got that. 50% as we get into the pattern. Airspeed VREF plus 10, 95 in the pattern, and then we'll come in over the fence at 85. Okay, coming in.
Taxi 504, contact Miami approach 120.5.
120.5 with Chelsea 504.
We'll just hold it at 2,500 feet for now. Give you a selection of the views.
Air Europe is 051, clear direct to NOAA.
Again, the point, Europa 51.
Air Europe is 051, clear direct to NOAA.
Now if we wanted, we could actually load the approach.
Join the entry for arrival to Havana.
Okay, direct Cano, Europa 051.
I haven't done this in a while. No approach. How could there be no approaches for Key West? Maybe since the update it hasn't loaded in the nav, my nav data. All right, well we can't.
Gear.
Landing gear.
Gear.
Good idea.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
All right.
Landing gear.
They're coming down. Relax. Yeah, we'd actually be able to see. I wonder if there's an ILS for this thing. Yeah, there's an RNAV 27. There's no ILS. I don't know why my approaches aren't lighted in here, but they're not, so we can't do that. Sorry about that, guys. That would have been cool.
Miami, good evening. 227, passing 10,000 for 16,000.
227, Miami, Sharon, good evening. Shared area of moderate to extreme precipitation.
Oh, we're about to stall the airplane.
To the south. Deviation to the left and force our
Because I'm screwing around with this.
We'll proceed to respond.
Altitude.
All right.
Yeah, I got the altitude. There we go.
Enable fully.
Not used to this airplane. Let's trim ourselves, nose down. Let's turn this off. I actually have red and white lights I can see here on the approach for the runway. I can also see here it's on this. So
maintain level 450.
Maintain flight level 450, iconic 67.
Europa 051, cross Canada, maintain flight level 2.
So that's an example of where you might want to be descending with an airspeed rather than a rate of descent. And then it was trying to hold us at the altitude, and I'd cut the throttle too much, and it was just trying to stall us out. We're a little low. We've got 4 red, so we'll just keep it here at 1,500 feet until we intercept the glide path, glide slope. Yeah, now I know what the stall horn sounds like in this airplane. I was like, what's that? Okay, so now we've got 1 white, which is fine. Why don't we put in 1 notch and slow us down now from 147. I bet. I wonder. Okay, so don't make this mistake. That's the Naval Air Station. That's what that is. Don't land there. I don't want to be like the guy who flew the C-17 in and landed at
Iconic 67. It looks like there's scared areas of moderate
the small airport outside of Tampa. Getting a weird reaction. Sometimes this yoke is conflicted. All right, we're just gonna keep it here. Make sure we land at the correct airport. How about that as an idea? That is the NAS. That is not our runway or our airport. That would have been a classic mistake. Where'd my phone go? There we go. Yeah, so a C-17 landed at Peter O'Knight Airport. And the reason why, which is a tiny little airport right on the edge of Tampa, and the reason why it did,
contact advance there,
yeah, airplane looks great, doesn't it? And the reason why is exactly this. So Peter O'Knight has a short strip, like a couple thousand feet, and it's exactly the same alignment and the exact same heading as the main landing runway at MacDill Air Force Base. And so the C-17 was cruising along, doing its business, and it landed at the wrong strip. And then the question, it was able to stop, and then the question was how to get it out. And they unloaded it, and they burned off a bunch of fuel, and ooh, there was lightning. How about that? I wonder if that shows up on the storm scope. Nope, not yet at least. I'm still getting the trim on this airplane comfortable. All right, so gears down, flaps still nominal. Now we've got that, our 2 red, because we are too low for Key West. And we need to come this way to get lined up for it. They had us come straight in. We'll just hold it here at 1,000 feet. I'm gonna not pay attention to the chat for a second while I try to land this baby. There's the Air Force base sliding by. F-18s fly out of there. Both aggressors playing the Russians, and our boys and ladies. Okay, we've got 3 red, 1 white, so we're still just going to cruise along here. Slow us down even more. I have no idea what the power settings are, but I knew the speeds. Okay, now we've got 2 white, 2 red, so we can start to come down now at about 500, couple hundred feet a minute. Let's make sure our gear are down. They are. Gum check. Gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop. Straps. Okay. A little low.
Airbank scope 421, Miami Center after.
Having trouble slowing down. We're still at 120 knots.
Airbank scope 421. It looks like that 60 due south of the moderate to heavy. Currently 1 o'clock and 40 miles. Scattered 7 miles to the northwest. If you need
really take the power out. There we go.
Stand by for hire.
Get ourselves trimmed. Liking that. There we go. Glide slope looks good. 107 knots. We can go first flaps. We have traffic departing. This has got real world traffic. All right. This is feeling good. 95, which is right where we want to be. A little power. Trim, trim. There we go. 87 knots. I gotta adjust this yoke a little bit though. Right. Way too sensitive. 80, we're a little slow. Running over the highway. I have no idea what pitch I'm at. Oh yeah, I'm pretty nose up.
Level 380.
I can't tell. How I'm not used to the side picture. All right. I looked out the side window. I was like this. No wonder. All right. Boy, we really came down slow there, didn't we? All right, so horizon about 50% is the right side picture in this airplane. That's good to know. We'll taxi off. Good question about MSFS. Could I get this kind of view in an enclosed cockpit? No, you cannot. To get this kind of a view, you need to do some trigonometry, which is easy because you just ask AI to do it for you. But you basically you calculate based on the size of the screens and how distant they are, their distance from the eye point, what the different field of view should be. So this front monitor has a field of view in the sim of like 80 degrees, and the side monitors are something like 57. And then you have to also be able to offset. So I've actually lowered the image on the front monitor a little bit, and I've moved them forward a little bit on the side monitors, which then allows everything to look like it's lining up, which is how I was looking. I really had it nailed a couple weeks ago, and then I accidentally reset the numbers, and I haven't been able to get them quite right. I don't think I did a very good job. Flaps coming up, landing light coming off, strobe coming off. I don't think I did a very good job of writing them down last time, obviously. But you can't do that in MSFs, in MSFS 2020 or 2024. You can have different viewpoints, but they all will have the same fields of view and they all move together. It's just not, you can't do something like what we've done here, which is disappointing because it's a beautiful simulator. I used it in VR, if you go back a couple streams last week, and it worked. Looks like the Vision Jet has a free castering nose wheel just like the SR-22, so you got to use your toe brakes to turn. So you've got to, you're just sort of out of luck to do something like this. The only thing would be build projection screens where you were generating one overlapping giant image and then have real windows that you were looking at. But I don't have the space or the ability to do that. So this is what we got. What is it that landed over there? It looks like a Cirrus. We'll see if that traffic comes across, live traffic. It does. Yeah. So, no, unfortunately not possible. At least if it's possible, I've been able to figure out how to do it, and I have worked. Because I do think MS-FS24 is beautiful. As a pilot, though, I will say I prefer how X-Plane performs. It flies, for me, and I know there are guys who say that they think it's got a better flight model, MS-FS, but for me, like X-Plane's flight model is very realistic. Its ground steering model is not great, but that's more about the airplane that you're using. So I'm like once I started flying in the real world, I switched to X-Plane. I never went back. I fly in MS-FS every once in a while for fun, because it's beautiful. But if I'm really trying to think about proficiency, like this is the machine this is the tool I use. Well, I like the SF50. Like, this is fun to fly. Smooth. It's fast, powerful. I gotta get used to the numbers and the power settings, and I gotta be careful not to stall the airplane on final approach. But like I think that's cool. Let's see if so one of the things they've updated now is the objects, don't run into me truck, sync across this now, so that airplane synced well. That's something that it wasn't necessarily happening very well before, and now it's happening really well. So I'm seeing in the slave monitor, because I've got two PCs running, one running these two screens and one running this screen, and it's all hanging together great now. I'm very fastidious about making sure my airplane is straight when we park. There we go. And yeah, so there we go. So that's the stream. I'm not quite sure why I wasn't seeing the frequencies in ForeFlight. Usually they just list them right here.
Copa 227, contact Havana 124.55.
Maybe I need to update my data. But anyway, let me see if there's anything else here to respond to. Let's set the parking brake. No parking brake, but that's okay. And then I think that's the off button. There we go. Engine's coming down. One more flight. Let's see what we have here. HFL would be great. Yeah, X-Plane I would say, and also Xeno, X-Plane is great for, like, also in this new beta, you don't have to pop out these displays. You can now, here, I'll show you. If I go to the right hand view, and I find my mouse, there it is, and we go here, and I go to, let me turn down the audio of the ATC. If we go to graphics, and you can now see here I have these two monitors, and if you click on them, you can pick for that monitor to be a particular display. So I have the one monitor being the G1000. So you could take any, I mean, you can see how many different things you can put on here depending on the airplane. If you're building a cockpit, it makes it very easy for you to put a particular screen, avionics screen, on a physical monitor, whether that would be a G1000 like this, or the GCU in the in a 737, like whatever. It just makes it really easy to put the avionics on the screen. All right. Thanks, everybody. It's good seeing you. Thanks for checking in. And hopefully I'll get another flight done before the end of the weekend. And if not, thanks for watching on the glide slope. Boy, it got dark. I guess in the clouds and sunset, it gets dark. So, all right. Later, everybody.